good afternoon po mga dear school leaders, classmates, and friends po. So we are discussing now. But before that, just a brief background po kung ano po ang ating, on what we will discussing this this day regarding these articles that the iFlex wants us to read and give some insights, most particularly this exploring the impacts of COVID-19 on education in Southeast Asia, challenges and opportunities, COVID-19's toll on youth in Southeast Asia, and a report on GMA News. I suppose that the GMA News to over 80.2% of students enrolled so far for school year 2021-22. That was last year. Then that's the task that 1.4 is given to us, and we will jump in 1.5. Yeah, write in your journal individual reflection. So sabi dito, reflect on the article that you have searched and your learnings from previous articles you have read in section 1.4 by answering this. Why did you choose the article you searched? In what ways that the article reflect your own experience and situation during the pandemic, and what are the three most important things that you have learned about the external factors affecting school. Then jump tayo na mabilisan dito sa forum, which is we are doing right now. This is the team video report. So sabi dito, share and discuss your answers from the individual reflection in 1.5. Then with your team, agree on three common external factors that have all affected your school. And as a team, create a video presentation, which is we are doing right now. Then upload this video in a video sharing platform and paste the link. So ako na lamang po siguro yung gagawa nito. Then we will focus on the issue in point 1.5. Who wants to first to share their insights? Siguro most probably maximum of 5 minutes will do, but then if your insights are do you think are good enough, then you may do so. Okay po? Who will be the first one to discuss about what have been read in 1.4 and the article that you've searched, which is the requirement in 1.4? Who will be the one? kindly raise your hand. Okay po. Sino pa mauna? Ako na po yung huli. Ganun na. Mauna na kayo.
Ikaw na, Sir Mauna.
Ako ba mauna?
Opo.
Sir Lorenzo.
Sabi nyo eh. Okay, sige. Sige.
Siyempre, sir, kasi ikaw yung mas experience sa amin.
Ganun ba yun?
Yung master po yung mauna, sir.
Kapag
Lorenzo, yung master po.
ang nanguna siya mauna. Ganun ba? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Nasa sasakyan ka, sir? Ronilo?
Yes, sir. I decided to move to a different location because walang signal po sa amin, sir, sa school
Are
namin
you driving, sir? Hindi naman.
No, hindi naman, sir. I stopped my car po.
Kala ko kasi baka kasi you're not comfortable in Anyway, sige po. Ako na po ang sabi nyo. Ako mauna. Sige.
Sige po, sir.
Ito, sagutin ko po yung question one by one. Why did you choose the article you searched? This is the article that I've been searched, and I think this is the most what do you call important part in the teaching learning process, which is the assessment. So that the title of this article is the challenges of assessing and evaluating the students at distance. You know for the fact that during pandemic, it is very hard for us to assess our pupils in remote or distant places. Then I I choose this material because this is as I mentioned earlier, this is the most important in what we have been doing in teaching and learning. Magkasabihan nga, turo tayo ng turo, pero pagdating sa assessment, ay hindi pala naintindihan ng ating mga bata, no? But then, the challenge, sagutin ko po yung question, the second question in this point. In what ways does the article reflect your own experience and situation during the pandemic? When I was the principal of Donos Elementary School, then 1.5, I think 1.5 years or 2 years, almost 2 years in face-to-face modality, starting from June 1998 up to the March 2020. Then the rest is history. The pandemic, the lockdown for in particular hits March 2020, and then several months have been in a total lockdown situation. Then according to the former Secretary, Deputy Secretary Leonor Leones, learning must continue. We know for the fact that that in those times, the continuity of education is very hard. So we devised this instead of using our plan, the basic Bible of the school, which is the school improvement plan. We use this learning continuity plan for be able to address the concerns, issues, and problems, and afterwards solutions to these problems involving education amidst COVID-19 pandemic. So the issues on how to deliver the the education is very hard, especially for those who what do you call that? Struggling learners. We identified during the pre-pandemic face-to-face interactions that we have struggling learners, we have non-readers, and the result in this post-pandemic situation that most learners have been non-readers and non-numerates and sad to say non-literates because of the exposure of the non-exposure to physical teaching learning environment. So the number one that is mostly affected by this pandemic is the assessment, where in fact although some parents have their hard time in teaching their learners to answer the questions given in the module, but then we know for the fact that some parents try to answer the modules from themselves for being able for the learners to not being so cumbersome o hindi mahirapan sa kanilang mga ginagawa. And although the teachers are trying so very, very hard in reaching the learners through the parents and their daily tasks in modules, but then the issue of the quality and the issue of uh, of the correct assessment is at stake. So, I'm answering the second question. What are the three most important things that you have learned about the external factors affecting school? Yes, number one, uh, the external factor is the economy, wherein the most deprived citizen of the community receives less in school, unlike on those face-to-face times that the teachers interact with learners, wherein in these pandemic times, we introduce online modality and printed modular modality, wherein uh, parents are what we call that the sole source of information of the learners, wherein the teachers serve as their guide. But then the actual execution is on the parents. Uh, some parents have their issue on literacy. Some are illiterate, and some do not have their time to address the problems of the learners because of they do not have their time, or uh, they need to work for being able to survive this pandemic. As you all know, those pandemic times are very, very hard in terms of transportation, going to market, buying food, buying medicines, etc., etc. Number two external factor is the what you call that the support of the government. Where in fact, for those who have experienced, we the government uh, resources are being rationed, nirarasyon sa mga bahay-bahay. For example, rice, canned goods, etc., etc. And the number three external factor is the global uh, external factor when in cases in most parts of the world affect the uh, number one, the spread of the COVID-19 virus, and the other is the economy, our economy. So we so in the public sector, we are so lucky that we we get our pay, wherein there are no classes. But on the private sector, it's very, very hard for them to cope up because of the principle of no work, no pay policy. So that is all. Thank you po. Ayun naman po. Sige po. Sino po masusunod? Sino nakasunod? Sino po?
I-try ko lang ito, sir.
Po, sure po.
Sa
Okay.
reflection on
English o ano, pwede na.
reflection on articles you have read in section 1.4.
Mhm.
I have chosen the article mental health.
Yes.
That mental health is important to adolescents because they are in these crucial stages in life on how it develops skills in self-control, social interactions, and learning. During COVID-19, lockdowns is everywhere and they experience negativity. Due to COVID-19, either at home or at school, due to bullying, it can damage their cognitive and emotional skills. Parents should be supportive with their children in this time of pandemic. A positive learning environment in our school, like we practiced, was practiced by educators in building and protecting mental well-being of the learners. Ano pa to? Yun bang three, ano sir? Three important learnings?
External, about the external, the important things that you have learned affecting school, external factors.
Yun po yung sa ano, three readings, ano po sir?
Three things na natutunan natin.
According to Rita Hovillano, the DepEd are therefore only 80.2% of school enrolled for school year 2021-2022 that this pandemic, a lot of students affected and some of them transferred to public schools. Parents can no longer afford the tuition fees. Some parents who are not permanent in their job are not given chance to work again. Displaced workers grown in the Philippines, some students did not pursue their studies and involved in early pregnancies and unwanted marriages doubled, and mental health is important to help them understand the situation. Educators support children in this time of pandemic to avoid any mental illness that came unexpectedly. Almost 2 years we are fighting for our well-being. In Southeast Asia, this pandemic affected many lives in different countries, and we cannot go away from it. Like closures of schools and economic hardship strikes us. Some indulge in early marriages and unwanted pregnancies. According to currently, we should not ignore them. Recovery programs and packages should be given proper action or tackled these side effects expeditiously and simultaneously, as their future impact could be exponential. In Cambodia, I learned that there is one of the most successful cases in the region who fight against COVID-19. They sustain the social economic welfare of livelihood general public, supported the government of health policies, measures, and non-pharmaceutical inventories. So dito po sir, sa identifying your own school challenge, students' performance level in all subject areas have decreased due to the absence of teachers. Instruction for the school's chosen learning modality, which is modular distance learning during the pandemic. Not enough educational support was given by the parents to assist learning at home. Moreover, teachers do not have enough training on distance or remote learning. School closure was implemented as precautionary measure for COVID-19 pandemic. Yan lang po sir ang naano ko.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Yun na po.
Okay. Sige, thank you po. Sino po susunod? Kayo, Ma'am Christy?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good
Good
afternoon po.
afternoon. Sige po.
Ino-open ko na sir yung ano.
Okay lang po.
Wait lang po. Nasa cellphone lang ako sir.
Sure po, sige. Okay lang po.
Oh, hindi ko mapalaki yung ano ko, screen ko. Hmm. Ang hirap dito sa cellphone. Baka sir ready na si Sir Ronilo? Medyo ano kaya yung ano ko? Hi sir.
Okay naman po. Baka kasi kapag inaayos ni ma'am yung kanyang ano.
Opo sir.
Sige po.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, sige po. Okay lang.
Okay, well, once again, I wanna say good afternoon to Sir Enzo, Ma'am Christy,
Yes
Agnes.
sir, good afternoon.
I am Ronilo H. Palingkod, Principal 1 of Rizal High School, Batuan District Division of Bohol, from Region 7. The first thing that I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna share with you the article that I've read. This is taken from the Journal of Pedagogical Sociology and Psychology. This is written by Sir Erwin Rotas and Michael Kahapay in 2021, just last year. This article is entitled From Stress to Success, exploring how Filipino students cope with remote learning amid COVID-19 pandemic. So in this particular research article, the writers mentioned the importance of remote learning during the pandemic. And they also stressed that during the pandemic, it's a different type of remote learning. It's not the usual traditional distance education practiced before the crisis, but they describe it as ERE, or Emergency Remote Education. This includes mobile learning, online learning, distance education, blended learning, and homeschooling. All right. So in this context, it is highlighted that ERE, or Emergency Remote Education, should not substitute traditional distance education nor change the conventional campus learning system. While successful distance learning programs rely on well-built ICT infrastructure, telecommunications, and a well-organized faculty support system. Um, the study of Sir Erwin and Sir Michael showed that, according to their study, they said that for a while, according to them, learners were able to succeed during the pandemic because of different coping strategies that they employ. First one here is looking for good space and time. Next one is borrowing learning resources, seeking support from peers, approaching the teachers, practicing effective time management strategies, doing learning tasks ahead, extending the time for learning tasks, diverting attention, regulating the self, taking extra jobs, even crying and praying. So they recommended, based on the result, that formal mechanisms in the institutional level should be placed. For example, the government should address perennial problems with internet connectivity. A drive to provide identified students with phones or computers should also be coordinated as with partnership with concerned private sectors. Further, the university should also broaden their student support services as far as psychological services are concerned, which is also taking place in the Department of Education these days. Before we started school year 2022-2023, we were instructed at the school level to have psychological support for teachers and students. These services, according to them, may be integrated at the university, college department, and courses levels, or at the school levels. Instructional requirements, example, schedule of submission of number of activities should also be adjusted by the teachers. when designing the instruction. This action, according to them, will help students as they adjust to remote delivery approach while learning the modular content at the same time. This study by Sir Erwin and Sir Michael is very timely, as we know, though we are having face-to-face classes these days, or this school year, it is inevitable that we also employ distance learning, especially just in case COVID-19 cases will rise up, right? So, though we're not actually employing distance education, as we know, as since nag face to face na nga tayo ngayon, it's also important to consider the practice that we had during the pandemic. Again, since again hindi natin talaga malalaman kung kailan magra-rise yung cases ng COVID positive sa lugar natin. So it's worth considering po. When it comes to what I've learned, to the assignments, I guess, yung mga, di ba there was a question, Sir Enzo, with regards to what we learned on the different articles that are posted on 1.4? Well, my learning, I can summarize my learning with 3 R's. First one is, after reading all those articles posted on iFlex, I can, I can share my learnings with 3 R's. First R is being resilient. As we know, COVID-19, the pandemic really taught us to be brave and strong, to be resilient, to be persistent, to move forward despite the odds. Next one is being religious. As we know, we cannot do things successfully, smoothly at the school level, even in our family, if you don't have God. So it's important that we have to trust God. So that's another thing. That's the R. Then the last R is recovery.
Yes.
We have to move forward and recover and succeed. That's all. Thank you so
Thank
much, for Enzo, Ma'am
you.
Christy, and Ma'am Agnes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Si Ma'am Christy naman po. Ma'am Christy, are you ready? Sige po.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Good
Mga 5
afternoon,
minutes na
sir.
lang po, ma'am, kasi mamamatay na po. Okay lang po ba? Kasi
Okay,
mamamatay
okay
na rin
lang,
yung
sir.
RT. Sige po, no
Kahit
problem.
siguro hindi aabot, sir, ng 5 minutes.
Sige
Good
po, sige po.
afternoon, everyone. I am Christy Peña from Sorsogon. I chose the article COVID-19's economic impact around the world. This article showed about the effect on the different sides of economy around the world, from the wealthier country to the middle income and to the lower, which is the hard hit during this pandemic. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began in March 2020, the world economy has been affected in many ways. As I have said, the poorer countries have suffered the most, but despite their greater resources, the wealthier countries have found or faced their own challenges. So this article looks at the impact of COVID-19 in different areas of the world. So our country is one of the hard hit. We can consider this because we have a lot of learners that suffered most in this time of shift, abrupt shifting of the mode of learning, especially in our location, in our school, that most of our learners reside from barangay of our municipality. So they don't have the access in internet. Some of them don't have gadget to use. So our school decided to use modular learning. And since the COVID-19 until now, we also have the transition period. We use the blended learning also. Other students, our enrollment this year have we can say that it goes down from the start of the pandemic until now. Our enrollment have decreased or declined because of other students have transferred from other school. Some students were transferred from their residence to other municipality because of their family, where they can have some convenience to find their income where their parents have work. And my learning, number two, in what ways does the article reflect? Okay. Number two, what are the three most important things that you have learned about the external factor? So our school, I can consider that the economy one of the external factor that affects our school. And number two, the support from the stakeholders. Not all of the stakeholders have their 100% support. But I can say that the local government unit and the barangay officials also have given their whole heart support to the school. And the learnings, the learnings that I have uh, gained from this article, from this situation that we have now, number one is flexibility. Teachers, even us, even though, sir, I am not a full-fledged school head, I'm an academic department head, though I have teachers to attend to, I know one of the important learning which is the flexibility, and always in time management, on how to support our learners, the different types of learners, the advanced learners, the slow learners, the average learners. And number three, as mentioned by Sir Renilo, our resiliency. This time, we need to be open mind to not just to our needs, but to the needs of our students, our learners, even the parents. They also have their own adjustment in this time of pandemic on how to help their learners. Sabi mo nga, sir, kanina, there are parents that have problems or difficulty in literacy. And siguro, sir, those are already my learnings. That's the only two. Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Stop recording ko na.